Welcome back to basic, back to reality. Right at the moment, as you can see, Nice Gambia is in North Bank. Day to day, we're gonna meet the man once again and again. You'll be seeing him with Nice Gambia since we came here in North Bank. So he will let us know about this building over here, which is built
French.
by the French, and then he will tell us the story of Kunta Kinte, and then simply the way you can intro yourself once again to the four corner of the world.
Thank you very much, a lucky child of the Gambia, an Apache with the group.
Yeah, man.
One Gambia, one people,
Yeah,
one love.
you want love. This is
Thank
Nice
you.
Gambia.
I am Mr. Mendy, been working as a tour guide here in Jufre and Alberta, commonly known as Roots. My name is Mr. Dudu Mendy,
Commonly known as Roots.
commonly known as Roots. 2 days time, I'm with Lucky Child and the group Apache.
Yeah, Nice
Thank you.
Gambia. Yeah.
Just like you said, I want to tell you a little bit story. We visited the island already and certain place and some of the monuments in the roots here, but we didn't actually visit this main building here. It's a very important building, as you can see. This building was built by the French people in 18th century. It was used as a French warehouse before. This is where the French people were been using as their warehouse, bringing certain goods like raw materials like gun, sugar, coffee, and other raw materials like that. They exchange them. Down floor, you can come inside and see. Down floor, it used to be used as their warehouse where they used to put those raw materials, you see. But and the up floor was used as their resident. But thank God this building has been used by the local community now. Why we use it with the local community is just to let the history not to die like that actually. And also the young ones, it's important for them used to see what used to be here.
Yes,
So we're using it as a local restaurant now by cooking this local food for the tourist visitors coming.
Just like a local
A
restaurant.
restaurant like they are cooking their domada here, their yassa, their benachin, and other stuffs like that actually. But it has a connection with the island which where slaves were being taken.
So, can you tell us the reason why this building they built it here?
Why they built this building here in this community here, because there was a time during the slave trade, the French were only occupying the mainland of Alberta. This is why this building is here. They cannot fit it on the island with the British people, and the British were mainly occupying the river Gambia. This is why the French people lived there, and they were given a piece of land in the village of Alberta, and they built near the river. They built this building here. You see, this is why this building was here. But part of the building was one time collapsed. And the help of UNESCO and NCAC. When you say NCAC, these people are in charge of our cultural and tangible area and other stuffs like that. NCAC, they actually perform or do well, also participate a lot about tourism. You see, so this is why part of this building was being renovated. You see, this other part was one time felt in the river, and NCSC with UNESCO in their collaboration, we actually do this. This is like a sea defense. This is how you protect the buildings on the side of the sea. If you want to do a protection, you see, you don't need to make a concrete wall around the river. You just put the mahogany stick around and mix the oysters with lime and then you actually defense, make a sea defense. You see.
Yeah.
So if you look behind the building here, we did also some underground work, which is very important. It will serve the building another maybe 400 years.
Wow.
You see, believe me. This is the only way you can do sea defense. These stones you seen were collected here in the village of Jufure here. We have a big quarry whereby we collect all this gravel and then make a sea defense, and then all this part of the building were being
So it seems
built.
like the building in the slave house,
Yes.
the stones are collected
Yes,
from
the buildings in the stone house in the island of slave
which is built
island
in
there
centuries.
in centuries
Yeah.
were all collected from villages here.
From villages,
Yes, in one of the quarry whereby they built the island, the fort on the island with this. You see, this where slaves were being taken. Like Kunta Kinte is just opposite village to the island here called Jufure. And Kunta Kinte was somebody was captured in their family there and they took him to the island. But if you talk about the history of Kunta Kinte has faced a lot of challenges and a lot of troubles, we all know. Since he was taken from Africa and they took this man to that island for 2 weeks, they took him to Annapolis in Virginia. We all know when he was taken to, and he was sold to Tom Lee in America. He was working for that man actually, which they wanted to change his name all time Toby, which he never accept. With all the beating, the torturing they are doing to him, he never accepted to be Toby actually. But in time they amputated one of his leg when his leg was being amputated because he was running from the plantation to the other plantation master. So it always costs a lot of money to the slave catchers, you know, to hire them to look for him. And actually, so they said, let us cut one of his leg. After when they cut one of his leg, this Kunta Kinte was being helped by a lady called Belle in America. And then later on they get married with that Belle. They got their first child called Kissy. That Kissy was the only daughter of Kunta Kinte, we all know. But why Alex Selly was able to trace out today his 7th generation is because this is why we said you have to respect your culture, value your culture.
Yeah.
Because when Kissy was young in the plantation, Alex Selly used to teach him some Mandinka words. Kunta Kinte didn't forget where he come from. With all that pain, he will be teaching Kissy. Si means sit down. That is a Mandinka word. Kungo means my head. You know, Kissy was all along taking that, you know, in Mandinka. Nko means my back. Ko jaro means a spoon we used to eat. Those are all Mandinka words he's been teaching to the daughter. And the daughter was taking some of those Mandinka words. Later on, that Kissy was raped. And then he got a boy called Chicken George. But that Kissy is also, Chicken George is a grandson of Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte got only one daughter, that Kissy. So that Kissy also was teaching the children, you know, Nko, Nkungo, Ko Jaro, you know. If you look at the roots book, you read it in fact, you see those Mandinka words, Nkungo, Ko Jaro, Nko, Si, you know. That's why they named that Kissy after that. You know, that means sea in Mandinka, Kissy.
Yeah.
But the Europeans, they can't pronounce it, they say Kissy. You see.
Yeah.
So that Chicken George also later on married in America. He got Bertha, then Bertha also married, and then he got Simon, you know, Cynthia married, and then he got Simon. Simon is the father of Alex Selly. So when Alex Selly graduated in one of the American university, Alex Selly was following those Mandinka words. You see, this is how Alex Selly started the research. You know, he was following what is Nkungo, what is Kojaro, what is Nko, you know. See, Alex Selly was with that until he made a 13 good years research. But when Alex Selly went to Ghana in Almina Castle, he met Ibu Manga. Then Ibu Manga told him, look, if you want to know about the history of Kunta Kinte, you have to go to West Africa, the Gambia. Why the Gambia? Because of the Gambi Bolong. You know, the river Gambia is called Gambi Bolong. So Alexeli told him, look, I have some Mandinka words which I remember my grandfather used to teach our kids. Nkisi, Nko, Nkungo, Ko Jaro. Alexeli said, oh, wow, this is the man. You know, we know really you are direct descendant of Kunta Kinte. Alexeli came here 1967 in the village of Jufure here. But when Alexeli came, actually the people of Jufure, they can't actually easily accept Alexeli like that as a 7th generation of Kunta Kinte because they didn't know him. It's Alexeli who explained. Anyway, Kunta married in America, in Annapolis. He got this child, Kissy. Kissy was raped. He got this child, Chicken George. Chicken George married. He got Bertha. Bertha married. He got Cynthia. Cynthia married. He got Simon.
So
Simon.
go upstairs, yeah?
He said, Simon is my father. And Jufre people say, wow. And then when Alexeli said that, Alexeli took out a book and he said, this Mandinka words, Ko Jaro, Nkungo, you know, Nko, Si. He said to them, Kunta Kinte was the one who was teaching her daughter like this. You see? To Alexeli, people said, wow, this is the offspring of Kunta Kinte. We were looking. And this is the time Alexeli published this book of Ruth and write this film, you see? And then people accepted him in the Gambia here. You see? That's why people in diaspora, some of them, if they are saying this is Alexeli is just making million out of this story, fine. If Alexeli make $1 million out of this story, fine. But it's a real story, and he's a 7th descendant of Kunta Kinte. So you see? Now you see this, why we make all this, you see why I say respect our culture, and Gambians we have to value, because if you look in the West today, most of our culture are stolen from Africa and they take it to West. Yeah. You see why we put this natural, it's like to show the West people, we don't want to do buildings like they do, modify it like Western building. Let's do our own African natural culture. You see, these are woods we put in. Before in 18th century when they built it, they put irons. These were irons, were not woods like this. But today you see, we put, you can see down, we put woods here. And now if you look at this, now these are all woods, you see? You can come in. These are woods. You see?
All this
yes, these are woods. Yeah. You see? I can show you. You see? These are woods. We put woods in there. Yeah. So this is more natural. And tourists will like this type of building in Africa, you know, because they are from the, this is wood. It's just a barrier between the rooms, you see. So tourists are from the West. They already know what is story buildings. They are built modern style with the Western things. So they don't like to come to Africa and see that again. They want to absorb our African culture. You see how we build houses and whatsoever. This is why we build this. So you see, these are all rooms, you see. So now we use this top floor also, has also like a gallery, a lodge. It's like a small mini place whereby travelers can come and spend the night in a building, culture building like this. And it's a history building. So once you are here in this room, if you are lucky to be here, you open this, you can see the island like that. You see? Yeah, if you open this, you can see the island like that. Yep. You see? Once you open here, you see? You can see the island. You see the island there. Take a small of that. You see the island. So once you are on top floor, you can see the island. And you open all these windows, you start getting fresh air. You see? So this building is very important. That's why I say it's important to renovate it. The young ones can see what used to be there. You see? It's important. That's why we rebuild this.
You can now continue on Kunta Kinte's story.
You see? Yeah. So Kunta Kinte is actually someone we should actually thank Actually, we can't pay Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte was born the parents of Omoro Kinte and Binta Kinte.
Yeah.
You see, the father of Kunta Kinte is Omoro Kinte, the mother is Binta Kinte. That's why Binta Kinte, the 7th generator who used to be there, who Alex Selim met in 1967, he passed away 2004. Now, but this legacy of Kunta Kinte will never die.
Will never die.
Mariama Aja Fofana is still there. If you ask Diba, he will tell you he's still there representing them. Yeah, the family is still there representing them as the 8th generation because the legacy will never die. So if Aja Mariama Fofana is not there, somebody is coming as the 9th generation.
Yes.
So you
legacy
see,
will ever stay.
legacy will ever stay.
Yes.
So the family of Kunta Kinte, the legacy will never die.
Never die.
He's a Gambian born in the village of Jufre, 1750. He was captured here and he was taken to America. The ship which took Kunta Kinte, he left on the 6th of September to America. He left the Gambia. The ship which took Kunta Kinte was called Lot Laguna, and the name of the captain is called David. You see, and he was sold in Annapolis in Virginia until he died in America 1829. Kunta Kinte never come back to the Gambia, but thank God today the ancestors are coming today. This is why these black people in America, you don't call them a black British or Negroes. In fact, they are stolen children from Africa. So we here, we are the flag bearer to maintain the history of Kunta Kinte.
So what kind of advice, right, do you have for, as you said, the stolen Africans? Since Kunta Kinte was trying his best to come back to Africa, he's tried to escape from the whites, and then he want to have his freedom and to get back to Africa. Is the reason why they cut his leg.
Yeah.
So and then with all that, no matter how they cut his leg, that's not stop him from trying to come back to Africa. He even run, he even work, or he run from America to the Red Sea. He's near to Africa because Egypt is in Africa. The Red Sea is in Africa. So and still he don't give up. Then what kind of advice do you have for?
You can even say he even took a flight now to come to Africa because ancestors are coming now.
The ancestors are coming.
Yeah. The advice I have to give to my brothers and sisters.
Because even trying to come with food, by then there was no flight.
No flight, exactly.
But now it's more easier for them to be
here. Yeah.
So which advice do you have for them?
Yeah, like you said, Kunta Kinte, like when he was he was all alone struggling and the challenge, the trouble to come back to Africa. Why he is trying to do that? He loved Africa and he loved his brothers and sisters, which he never want to leave them. But at that time, it's very hard. He was even struggling, like you say, to come to buy food. Like olden days, people struggle to go to Mecca with food, in fact, you know. But look at today, God has made the world to simple people are coming with flight. And they are still just going to board a flight and come back to Africa. So my advice to African Americans and the diasporas all over the world is to tell them, look, let them love each other. Wherever, in fact, I took a black group speech, this is what I used to tell them, and they dropped their tears, believe me. Let them love each other, care each other, do whatever you want to do in Europe, of course. We all know everybody wanted to look for greener pasture. That's why we do even challenge to take a boat to go to migrants, Spain, Italian, whatever. But do whatever you want to do. But look, let's just not forget Africa. Will be ever remain Africa. You can throw a piece of wood in the river for 1,000 years. It can never be a crocodile, my brother. Europe is for the West, the white people, and Babylon must fall down one day or the other. So let them come and grab a piece of land here. Believe me, before the Chinese people will take and dominate the whole thing. So let them come back to Africa and at least know their brothers and sisters. That's my advice going to them.
Right. I can't forget to follow my cameraman down there. But my youth. Simply the way with my friend over here. Simon Torres Silva right at the moment. So we are working hard as we always said. But we will drop up his number as we always do, it will be on the screen. Talk to him live and direct. If you want to know the history of Jufre, you want to know the history of the island, the history of Kunta Kinte, and the history of Nyomi, you can simply, even the Gambia or River Gambia, dial him, talk to him live and direct. Or if you want to, you have a question to ask him, because we don't want to keep the video so long, and you can simply call him, talk to him on WhatsApp. You will know a lot about Kunta Kinte, about the Gambia, about Nyomi, about the River Gambia, about culture, about roots, about Kunta Kinte family, and about the suffer reason of Kunta Kinte. So as well, if you come to Jufre, or well before coming, you just dial him. He knows all over the Gambia and he knows history. So dial him. He's a historian, simply the way. But dial up the number, make it be phone busier than before, and then simply the way you will know a lot about roots and culture in the Gambia, in Africa. Simply the way, subscribe, like the video, share it to friends and family. Make sure everybody see this video, because we're the best out of the rest.
Thank you, lucky
Okay.
child. My advice also going to you. Believe me, what you're doing, I love it, because it seems to me like I'm realizing like you calling back our sisters and diasporas and our young Gambians to in Europe to come back to know their culture, let them not the rule or convinced by the West people. And I personally, believe me, I tell you, I've been interviewed with a lot of channels, even BBC, and I never tell a fake story. Everybody see my video, you like it, believe me. And I promise you, anybody in the West wanted to come back to know your culture and roots, believe me, if you contact me one day or the other, you'll not even like to stay in Babylon. You must come back to Africa and drop something here, believe me.
Again,
and I will tell you something which is really clear to you. You really know your own story, believe me, if you contact me and you want to know in Africa. I can say we're 10, 11 guys here, but I'm one of the one who used to pick about 10, 15 black people here. I used to take them up to Gore Island in Senegal. And personally, what I love in my life, I know my own history before I talk about somebody's history outside or other countries, believe me. So if any people or anyone want to know in the West your roots and where your background is, believe me, contact me on this number 7627216 or 3979908. You will meet Mr. Dudu Mendy as a flag bearer of the ancestors as in the roots here known as roots, Jufre and Albert. Thank you.